OpenAI might raise over $100 billion, and Netflix is already waiving legal papers at an AI video tool. Money is scaling up fast, and liability is sprinting to catch it.
Hey, it is Friday, February 20th. 3 headlines today show how fast AI is turning into real budgets and real risk. OpenAI is reportedly nearing the first phase of a funding round that could top $100 billion at a targeted valuation around $850 billion. That is infrastructure money. If it closes, expect aggressive bundling in enterprise deals and price pressure that hits your margins within a quarter. A subsidized base model can undercut your cost structure even if your product is better. Fine, but who pays when your whole product is attached to one vendor's pricing mood swing? I have seen the contract clause that says, "We can change pricing with notice." Then the support ticket shows up. Your feature stopped working after the provider updated something. If my gross margin is 70% today and it turns into 40% because of one email, that is not a strategy. If I were signing that contract, I would model the business with a 2x price increase from your model provider and see if you still survive. If the answer is no, build a second supplier path now, even if it is slower, because the only power you get later is the ability to leave. Also, stop promising customers a fixed price for AI features unless your own costs are actually fixed. I will buy that, with one condition. Put the exit plan in writing. Then run a real switch test before your biggest customer asks for a discount. That funding headline connects to the next one, because when AI gets this much capital, it ships into creative work at scale. Then the courts show up. Netflix sent a cease and desist letter to ByteDance over its Cdance 2.0 AI video service, alleging it generates unauthorized content using Netflix intellectual property. Netflix is reportedly threatening immediate litigation. The practical risk is your product getting blocked. Great! Explain that to a partner team that just built a launch plan. One legal letter later, your App Store listing is frozen and your biggest customer asks for a refund. If I am running this, I want a paper trail for what content went in and what content came out. This works if your product can show it did not learn from protected content and it can block obvious lookalikes fast enough to matter. It breaks if your growth plan is users will do whatever, because the first viral clip becomes your evidence exhibit. Honestly, I do not know how fast judges will move on this category. I do know one injunction can erase a year of distribution work. I like that you said, "I do not know." Here is the action item. If you ship creative AI, set up a review lane for high-risk outputs and write down who can approve them. If you cannot staff that, narrow what your tool can generate until you can. Quick hit, and it is a weirdly important one. 11 Labs launched insurance for AI voice agents, positioned as liability coverage for harms caused by deployed voice agents, backed by a specialty insurer. That is the market admitting these tools are doing employee-like work with employee-like risk. The takeaway is simple. If you deploy voice agents, you are now in the world of claims and documentation. Insurance sounds comforting until procurement asks what it does not cover. Does it pay when the voice agent promises a refund your policy forbids? Or when it says the wrong thing on a recorded call and you get a regulator complaint? Ask your voice agent vendor for the policy summary and the exclusions, then decide if you need your own coverage on top. If I were running support ops, I would require records of every call and a clear escalation path to a human, because that is what lowers premiums over time. Promising, but I would not assume the insurer pays quickly unless the paperwork is clean. And your action item is to budget for the boring part. If the insurance only pays after you prove you did everything right, you are still doing the work. That is fine, as long as you plan for it. As Wes Roth put it, Netflix is threatening immediate litigation against ByteDance over its new AI service, labeling it a high-speed piracy engine. High speed is doing a lot of work there. Courts do not care how fast your roadmap is. On model costs, do you diversify now or bet on discounts? This is readme.ai from Chain of Thought. See you tomorrow.